Welcome to the first ever Ofiniti Sessions that we're going to record. Today is a very special one. We will be talking about the merger between Teqplay and Ofiniti. Yeah. I have with me in the studio Tue and HC. Really looking forward to have a conversation and explain a bit on what we're doing and why we have come to this decision. But maybe I can start off with you to introduce a bit about yourself and also the merger.
Yeah, for sure. I'm surprised that the first time we were going to have this recording was going to be as colleagues. So first and foremost, thank you for joining us, and super excited about us coming together. So I'm Tue. I've been 10 years in the maritime industry at the intersection between maritime and digital. Last 2 years as the CEO of Ofiniti, and super excited about talking today.
Yeah, and I have been in the maritime industry for more than 30 years. Very excited, like Tue says, about the opportunities for our customers that this coming together of Teqplay and Ofiniti brings. I've been with Ofiniti only for 6 months, but it feels like much longer because we are at record speed trying to create new great solutions for our customers. And we're going to talk about this, but I think Teqplay will play a key role in that.
Okay. And maybe before then diving into the depth, I will introduce myself for all the Ofiniti people who do not know me yet. I'm Léon. I'm in the maritime industry now for 15 years almost. Really took a deep dive from the port of Rotterdam, immersed into the industry, and couldn't let go of what was happening or was seeing. I love digital, I love technology, and I love collaboration, and that was why port call are so exciting, and also why bunkering is such an exciting process as well. So that's short about me, but maybe we can take a short note on what is the rationale. Why does it make sense to bring Ofiniti and Teqplay together too?
Well, I think ultimately it comes down to the fact that I think this is a kind of math piece where it's not 1 + 1 = 2. I think we together, coming together as two companies into one is more than that. Then the question is, of course, to be answered, is that 3 or is that 10 or whatever that it becomes? But I think there's interesting movement going on in the industry of more and more consolidation of the industry. We are serving some of the same customers, which I think is exciting, and I think we can cross-serve the customers in an even better way. With bringing together the operational experience of Ofiniti and this sort of AIS and domain experience of what Teqplay has been doing, I think that's super exciting, and being able to ultimately deliver customer value is maybe what I find most important.
And how is that for you, HV?
No, totally. I'm all about customer value. And, we have this notion of combining supply, demand, and infrastructure. And that's not a physical task. That is actually a digital task. As we said in our announcement, it's about bringing everybody on the same clock, creating transparency, visibility, enabling everybody to plan better. And that excites me so much that we can bring this to market together.
Yeah, and I like the word clock, bringing everyone and all the processes on the same speed and giving the visibility and the transparency. Yeah, and I'm really excited as well. If I think about maritime, it's about always a process. Something physical needs to be moved, which is an operational process. So if you want to support that operational process, yes, you can do it the way it was always done, slightly disconnected. And I think the maritime is very strong in organizing things which are not connected. But indeed, I do think the next step is really to connect that part and make sure that there is this ability to synchronize also over different time zones, also over having this part. And the other belief I have, it's the operational process. As soon as you're talking about operational processes, I think you're talking about operational excellence. And if you're talking about operational excellence, then it's about continuous improvement. Every time, every step, it should be a bit better. And for me, that is one of the most exciting things that I see coming out of it, is bringing that operational process and bringing that to the next level with the data, with the experience. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Yeah.
I think a common theme for both companies has also been embracing and enabling the industry rather than disrupting it. I think none of us are disruptors, but rather enablers. And I think this coming together of what we call scheduling and documentation and being able to give better operational decision-making support and better intelligence in those decisions that our stakeholders and that our users are using every day, I think that is just so meaningful. Not from eliminating work or removing tasks or anything, but just enabling people to do better and for the industry and its stakeholders to work better and smarter together. I think that's important.
Yeah. If I can just add to that also, with the 15 years of experience I have in maritime software, the whole notion that shipping is manned by knowledge workers who are very busy, who operate globally, have to think globally often, who operate at the most impossible time sometimes, you got to be on all the time. Shipping never sleeps. They deserve as good as possible solutions. And that does not mean more platforms. Let's be honest. I mean, I think you will hear many users out there saying we don't need more platforms, we need better integrated platforms, or we need data that feeds our core systems today. And Ofiniti has successfully built the leading operational platform for bunkering. I think Teqplay have successfully staked their name as providing synthetic data, digital twins, helping eliminate waste, time waste in particular, in ports. Those two things together, I think, can be magical.
Yep. And what are the customers are going to see? What are the words that come with this merger?
So I think this unification of supply, demand, and infrastructure can be sort of traced back to the different stakeholders in the process that you have. So on the supply side, you of course have our core customers and our core constituency, which is the bunker suppliers, the bunker craft operators, and the ones actually at sea doing the job, doing the documentation. So that's the supply side. And then the demand side is primarily driven by the receivers. So large shipping companies that are expecting more and more, especially when you have a line item which is upwards of 60% of cost. And then I think ultimately infrastructure is the ports, it's the terminals, it's the physical infrastructure that enables this. And being able to gain better visibility, being able to cross-check across all parties is in the best interest when you can get this aligned. Give you an example, right? When you are about to do a bunker supply and the agent notified you last time 6 hours ago about the berthing position, it makes sense to be able to check, was that actually the berth that the receiving vessel ended up at? And it makes sense to be able to see, will there be a simultaneous operations? Can I actually go and deliver bunkers? So bringing some of that together and bringing the infrastructure piece together, I think that's very meaningful. And I think that's what customers are going to see across both sides, is a more connected, more integrated piece coming from us coming together as one.
For me, it's also like things will always change, right? Something will always go different. And I think having awareness on that things are changing, and that is one of the core points that we are as Teqplay bring to the table, allows people to adapt. It is like, okay, something has changed, fine. We're not going to fight the change. We're going to accept the change, and we proactively, hopefully, can already make better decisions or to start to work out a solution on that part. Not after the fact, but as soon as there is the ability to know on that part.
And I think that is super important because, I mean, at the age of business intelligence based on what happened last month and before, that's past. We don't even have to talk about AI here, but what you need predictive intelligence. You need prompts to say, this is going to happen. How do I prepare for this? Whether it's, am I alongside at the right time? Can I satisfy my customer? Or is the receiving vessel, do we have to plan? Do we have to tell the supplier, whoa, we got other activities going on. It's going to be 2 hours before we're ready to connect hoses. So that manual interaction between the parties and the port or the terminals, a lot of this can be codified and can be brought into platforms, into apps, into data feeds and prompts that are contextual in the workbenches that the customers sit with.
And if I may add, I think there is part of what people sometimes have the tendency to skip is they are looking for this one-stop fixes it all, or they are looking for this magic intelligence layer. But what is the issue sometimes, and what I think is unique and why I think maritime is so interesting, is you need to take certain steps before you can get to that point. So to be able to get to the point where you can act on the basis of real-time intelligence, you need that data source and that data layer to be there. So for you to be able to make the decision that HC is talking about, you need to have your platform. You need to digitalize your documentation, which is now taking place in pen and paper. You need to be able to get your schedule out of Excel. You need to be able to connect your Outlook inbox where you have an Outlook email laying in there that you didn't follow up on, or you didn't really notice what was the actual change, and bring people together. There's a lot of stakeholders in this industry: suppliers, receivers, surveyors, ports, agents, so many. And I think they need a common place to come together and work in a single unified platform.
And to add to that, I think what is also very important is, like, it's a global industry, as was mentioned a couple of times. So not everyone is working in the same time zone, which also increases the risk of having data entries, wrong interpretations. So having this one place where you can have a look is creating a basis to really also be able to trust the data and not having to interpret it, but you know for sure that it is right, that it is aligned on that part.
Yeah.
And I think also that the key point is it will be about learning eventually. Of course, we need to execute the processes. Once we have got, we will be able, but it is also continuously about learning. And I think also in this process where we are coming together, I think there will be a lot about learning. And I know for sure that we will learn a lot and that we will learn with our customers on that part. But maybe any final remarks from your end?
Can I pick up on the learning bit first?
Yeah.
I think it's super important to enable our customers to learn, not by reading stuff and remembering it, but actually codifying things that have happened, using historical events, mishaps, maybe mistakes, and codify that in a sense that you, the system, the receiver or the supplier, you know what to look out for next time. And I think that organizational learning, so making that tacit knowledge, which is up here in the heads of many of the knowledge workers in shipping, getting that codified so that it becomes the whole organization's learning. I mean, that's what digitalization, for me at least, that is one of the key value outcomes of digitalizing documents and processes.
Echo that. Echo that. Works.
Yeah. And it's not only for the organization. I think it's for the ecosystem as a whole.
Absolutely.
I think that is where I do see a lot of value.
Yeah.
I think it wraps up very nicely on what we are going, what journey we are going. So I'm very happy that this was the first recording in the Ofiniti Sessions. And thanks for the talk, and we'll see one another much more. Thanks.
Indeed. Thank you.